Hi, Lou Nyman with Rosa Glass. In this video, I'm going to provide some information about orange wines. Orange wines are white wines made from white wine grapes, but using red wine methods. In making a white wine, immediately after the grapes are crushed, the skins are removed from the juice to minimize any color extraction whatsoever. In orange wines, the skins remain in contact with the juice during maceration and fermentation. And the longer the skins are in contact with the juice, the deeper and darker the color of the wine will be. It's really inaccurate to call these wines orange wines, and more appropriate to call them skin contact wines. And the color of these wines range from a golden straw yellow to an amber to an orange. This style of wine has been made for centuries and originated in the Republic of Georgia. In the 1990s, in northern Italy, some winemakers decided to try these winemaking methods to see how successful they might be. Well, they were quite successful, and they named their wines Ramato, which means coppery in Italian. Due to the success of the northern Italian winemakers, winemakers around the world decided to experiment with these wine methods, and they called their wines orange wines. Orange wines are made from many different white wine varietals. Some of them were common being Pinot Grigio, Chardonnay, Riesling, Gewürztraminer, Ribolla, Gioia, and Jacquard. The characteristics of these wines, similar to the white wine counterparts, but the flavors and aromas tend to be more intense and complex. The bodies tend to be fuller and the tannins tend to be higher. You want to serve these wines 55 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit in a white wine glass. You can decant them for 15 to 30 minutes. You don't need to age these wines because they're meant to be drank young, and they really don't age very well. Food pairings for these wines are chicken, pork, lamb, duck, grilled and fried fish, along with roasted vegetables. Well, let's taste our orange wine. I took the opportunity to choose a wine that is made entirely from Pinot Grigio. I also have a bottle of Pinot Grigio made in a white wine method, and as you can see, it's a very golden yellow color. Well, if you look at the orange wine made from Pinot Grigio, it's a very coppery color. The wine I'm going to be drinking is a Chan & Daughters Long Island Ramato 2018. This wine was produced on the eastern tip of Long Island in the state of New York. As you can tell from the name, that coppery color Ramato comes from the Italian way of making this wine. Well, let's take a look at the clarity and brilliance of our wine and the legs. Nice and clear, very brilliant, and this wine has some nice legs. Well, let's take a sniff and see what aromas we can pick up. Definitely a flower aroma, and I think I'm picking up some apricot, but let's try a second sniff. Definitely some apricot, and I think there's some nutmeg there as well. Well, let's try a taste. Some apple there, but there's a real tartness to this. A citrus tartness, almost like a grapefruit tartness. The body of this wine is medium plus. The alcohol of this particular wine is 12%. Acidity is definitely medium plus. That tartness is really there. The sweetness, this is a dry wine. Tannins are definitely high. I'm going to say medium for a tannin. Overall balance, I think the tartness of this wine is a little overbearing, so I'm going to say it's not quite in balance, but it's a very nice wine. But the tartness is pretty distinct. Food pairings for this wine, definitely that chicken, that pork, some hard cheeses. I hope you enjoyed talking about orange wines because I think they're rather interesting in that if you compare them to their white counterparts, you do get much more intense flavors and complex flavors. and those tannins tend to be a little higher, more like a light red wine. I would take the opportunity to try both a white and an orange wine of the same grape varietal. I think that's a good way to judge the differences. I hope you've enjoyed this discussion on orange wines, and I'm looking forward to our next video. And as always, raise a glass and have a drink.